What is going on, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got 5 new Link Vrains Pack 3 Link monsters that got revealed, and it's pretty exciting, and I'm excited, and I saw these last night. I tried to upload a video on them, and I set it to upload before I left, and YouTube just froze and stopped at 20% of the upload, and it never got uploaded. So we're doing it in the morning again, and I'm sorry. I really thought it was just going to upload while I was gone, and it did not, and that stinks. But that's okay. We're doing it now, and yeah, let's jump right into it. I don't want to waste too much time. So we'll start with the first one here. We've got Union Carrier, the one I am personally the most excited about out of these 5. It's a light machine Link effect monster. It's a Link 2 with one downward arrow and one to the right. So, transitions and opens up zones below. The materials it takes are any 2 monsters with the same type or attribute. That's actually pretty nice, pretty generic. That could definitely be a really solid thing. And you can only use this card's first effect once per turn. It cannot be used as Link material during the turn it was Link summoned. I think a lot of Link monsters really need this stipulation. I think it would really nerf some cards that are more powerful than they should be, but that's whatever. You can target one face-up monster you control. Equip one monster with the same original type or attribute as that target from your hand or deck to it with this effect. Also, that monster gains 1,000 attacks. So this is super good. I mean, the one that's it's the best with is obviously ABCs. This could be a very, very good card in ABCs just to get them out, and then the ABCs special themselves. They won't be able to be used as Link material with this card, but if you have any other extender on the field, you can link them away from there, and that would take care of business, and they extend you when they go from the field to the graveyard, and it's pretty good. And they give you protection effects. It's good. I do like this. This is super good for ABCs. I think this card will be probably a staple in that deck, and I'm not sure where else it really applies because it only takes because it doesn't even have to be a Union monster. I mean, let's say here, it doesn't even equip specifically a Union monster. It can equip any monster. So this can technically just turbo any light or machine monster straight out of the deck just by himself, just being able to make this pretty generic Link too, which is pretty nice. And then there's other things in the ABC deck, you can equip him with the Heavy Mech Support Armor. That's the card that'll give him protection from targeting, as well as give him 1 destruction protection as well, which is nice actually, because he buffs himself to 2,000, can't be targeted, can't be destroyed once. It's actually pretty good, right? But yeah, I think it's a really good card to just tutor out cards. Even there are possibly even generic applications of this just to get certain cards out of their deck and into the graveyard. But who knows? Who knows where this will go? I mean, I think about stuff with well, that's not a great example. I don't know. I can't even think of anything. There also might be Phoenix God Gearfried implications just because he deals with equip cards and stuff. But we'll have to wait and see if there's anything more there. Next up, we have Ancient Gear Ballistic Shooter. This is an Earth Machine Link effect monster. Link 2 with 1,500 attack points, bottom right and to the right. Bottom left and to the right. So again, opens up a zone below and transitions to the side. Has 1,500 attack, like we said. He takes any 2 Earth Machine monsters. A little more specific, but he has 2 once per turn effects. The first effect, if this card is Link summoned, you can add 1 Ancient Gear monster or 1 Gear town from your deck to your hand. That's phenomenal. That searches almost your entire archetype. Very, very good on summon. And then the second effect, you can target a spell or trap you control and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy the card you control, and if you do, the opponent's monster's attack and defense becomes 0 until the end of the turn. That's really, really good. Ancient Gears just like to summon up big bodies that can't be disrupted when they go into the battle phase, and then you just beat down your opponent, and this just sets you up for that, helps you out stuff. And he's 1,500, so even something that he couldn't mount, you just make something like that, and then your big boy gets to attack directly for a ton of damage, right? So, and not even to mention that I think Gear Town is one of the cards that you want to get destroyed by a card effect, and then it gets you extra pluses. So you summon him, you search Gear Town, you pop Gear Town pluses you, while also making one of your opponent's monsters easier to deal with. I really like this card. It's a nice buff for Ancient Gears. I'm not sure how much better they get with that, but they're definitely better. Next up, we have Extra Hero Hell Divisor. That name will not stick for sure. But he's a Dark Fiend Link effect monster. Link 2 with 1700 attack. He points bottom left and bottom. Interesting arrows for Link 2, but they're very good. Open up 2 zones below. He takes any 2 hero monsters, so fairly just generic for the whole hero archetype because there's so many cards. You can only use this card's name's first effect once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can reveal 1 hero fusion monster in your extra deck and add up to 2 fusion materials with different names listed on it from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this effect except for heroes. This card is insane. It seriously is, and I think there are some limitations to it. So here's the thing is that it has to be 2 very specific names for the materials listed on a fusion monster. So if there's a fusion like, I don't know, Adoration or Vision Hero, like the Vision Hero Trinity, that just say they take any 2 hero monsters, that doesn't mean you can just search any 2 hero monsters. It has to be like a fusion. Like if you did, you'd have to use something like Flame Wingman, classic example. You would be able to search Burstinatrix as well as Avian. It has to be extremely specific names. So that does limit the stuff here, because a lot of like the ones that have specific names on them, you don't even like play them anymore. Like as the deck has gotten better, we've gotten better hero monsters. The fusions have also gotten more generic. So it forces you to kind of play some extra cards in your extra deck, but I still think the potential here is so high to just on summon +2. And we'll see where it goes from there. Also, any Fiend monster this card points to gains attack and defense times its level, or its level times 100. So, you know, with some of the evil hero fusions, they could be getting almost 1,000 boost, which is pretty nice actually. Yeah, but this card I like a lot. I think it's a really strong plus. It buffs stuff. He's 17 himself, which is not bad for a Link 2, and we'll see how usable he is with the stuff you can search. I'll do some more research on it later. Might do a separate video on him. Next up, we have Reptilian Echidna. This is a Dark Reptile Link effect monster. Link 2 points down, right, and to the left. So again, we've got a transitional arrow to the left and a downward arrow as well. She has 200 attack. She takes any 2 monsters as long as one of them is a reptile, which is very generic. It opens the door for a lot of generic board spamming support to get into her. If this card is Link summoned, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0. Okay. She's only 200, but that means she can get over anything in attack mode, at least, which is nice. Second effect, during your main phase, you can add a number of reptile monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, up to the number of monsters with 0 attack your opponent controls. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extract this turn, except for reptiles. So, if you're playing this card, you're assuming we're playing it in a reptile-heavy deck. That stipulation in the end is not the biggest deal, but this search effect is actually very, very strong. This card, like, obviously going first, no, but going second, this card's like automatically just getting you a search. At least 1 search. If you don't know, like Reptilians, that's what they do, is like they're built around like making your opponent's stats 0 and then like punishing them for it. They have cards that like gain attack or whatever, and then pop cards depending on how many monsters have 0 attack and stuff. And so that's what they do. They freeze you. They freeze your monster for a turn and then just kill them. But it's pretty. I think this card's decent, and I think this really opens the door for any reptile, not even reptilian, but any reptile deck. I don't know if we've ever seen a reptile deck legitimately be a top tier deck. But this could definitely be a super playable card. Just in a simplified board state, you can just go into this. It makes any monster 0, makes it beat overable, as well as going to get you at least a free search, which is pretty strong. So I like this card a lot. I really do, for the future of just generic reptile support. And then the last card we have here is Bloom Harmonists, the Melodious Virtuoso. This is a fairy Link effect monster. It's a light, obviously. Link 2. It has the classic arrows down right, down left. back to form with the classics. 1,000 attack, takes any 2 fairy monsters, but we'll see about that. And you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can discard a card, then special summon 2 Melodious monsters with different levels from your deck to your zones this card points to in defense position. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except for Melodious. So that, again, that'll even limit like what fairy cards you can use, because you can't just use Trickstars and go like normal summon Candina, search Corabane, special summon Corabane, make this, because you cannot special summon period except for Melodious monsters the turn you use her effect. So if you did that, you would not be able to use her effects. So stuff like that doesn't work. So she's kind of locking you into Melodious stuff, which is good because it's a very powerful effect. Just special summoning 2 Melodious straight from the deck. A lot of them have effects that pop off on special summon. And some of them, I think, if they're special summoned by a Melodious effect, this is very, very strong in getting utility there and protection and stuff. And then the second effect, if a Melodious monster this card points to attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Another nice little effect. I mean, I'm guessing the idea here is that you turbo out 2 Melodious monsters to its zones, and then you have a fusion card and fuse into a Melodious fusion and just go into the battle phase and start wrecking some havoc on your opponent, and they can't really do anything in the battle phase as you're attacking. So pretty nice. I think like legitimately, I don't think anybody would argue with me. All these are really nice. Like really, I think this might have the most meta implications, maybe just because it's ABC and we know they've been like still a decent rogue deck for a while. This is really nice for Ancient Gears. I'm not sure if they become actually good, but it's a nice support. This is obviously really powerful, but we'll see how good it can be abused in Heroes, and that has potential as well, like the ABC one. Reptilian is just nice for the future of Reptiles in general, but again, we don't have any decks that right now are set up in a situation where they were just where we were looking at them and like, if we just got one good Link monster, we'd be up in there. No, but all it takes is one good Reptile deck, and then this card can be abused, and this card, and then they could be possibly good. And then Melodious, again, I don't believe Melodious will be like amazing after this, but it adds to their extra plays, and I think they've struggled with consistency. I think they've struggled with power plays if you don't consistently open like a fusion spell. So this girl at least can get you into like any 2 of your Melodious monsters will get you into 2 more, and her and 2 on the field with possible protection effects, stat boosting effects, and actually end on stuff that's not as easy to out as you'd think. So I really like all these effects, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. If I missed anything specific here that is important to note, definitely throw it in the comments down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I like all these. I think they're all good. Particularly, I'm interested in this one, and I guess the hero one, just because heroes are dope. But I think they're all good for their archetypes. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.